Hello, welcome. Going to play Mission X on the Intellivision. This is a 1982 arcade game from Data East, ported to the Intellivision by Mattel in 1983. Has 4 difficulty settings. I'm going to choose the hardest, but I don't think the game's very hard to begin with. Before I do that, let me just do a little trick here with both controllers and the reset button, which reveals the programmer of the game. So you hit his name in there, John Tomlinson, which programmers were prone to do actually. I'm sure more than a few did this. Just hid their name in the cartridge to get credit because publishers wouldn't, reveal who made the games back then in the manual or in the game. Just because the competition was fierce and they'd hire employees away from each other. So, I'm going to start the game here. That noise is just the plane going over the runway. So nobody will actually shoot except for the enemy fighter plane that shows up on occasion until I shoot first. So I'll start bombing here. And then the battleships start shooting missiles. And that's a tank and an artillery gun. They may not look like it, but that's what they are. Most of the game is just this. Bombing to score points, go for the high score. Enemy fighter plane will show up on occasion. That pink thing's a bridge. The thing to my left there, and there's another one, is a truck. And I'm missing quite a bit. I can't play very well when I talk, but that's okay, because this game would last too long. If you concentrate, it can go on for quite a bit. There's no end of the game, it'll just repeat continuously until you lose all your lives. So you just gotta dodge missiles and the enemy fighter plane, which you can shoot down. That's what these guns are for. It's a little tricky because you gotta be, soft on the disc. You gotta tap it kind of to line up better. Now, something unique about this game. It's not, I wouldn't call it a shmup, it's just bombing. There's another runway. If you bomb the runway, you're considered, on the ground, so you blow up. If you bomb it from a higher altitude, you lose points. So that's the unique thing, is that you can change your altitude. So I'm gonna fly up high. You can see the missiles getting bigger too, to try to hit me. If you change right in front of them, you can go underneath them. Of course, the bombs take longer, and you fly slower too when you're up high. Those will go high, I'll go underneath. You get a good bonus if you can hit both sides of the bridge at once, but it's not easy to do. There are railroad tracks and roads as well. Roads have just different colored truck on them, and the tracks sometimes have a train on them. It's risky to fly close to the edge of the screen though, because missiles will appear from the other, right off the edge of the screen. That's most of the targets in the game. Here's the last one, I think, the aircraft carrier. Now I think you've seen them all. That's all the game has, is just like a handful of targets and constant flying. Well, those are the bombing targets. The plane hasn't shown up yet. The plane is what will kill the player the most. Mostly because it just catches you off guard if it pops up right there. It just depends where it pops up. You don't need to go over the runway. It doesn't. There's no fuel in the game. It just gets you points. So as you can see, we've switched to nighttime. It makes it a little harder because when you're flying over the grass, you can lose track of yourself a little bit, but more so if the enemy plane shows up. So that was a train right there. If you hit the front car, the engine, you get more points. Basically bomb anything except the runway. And shoot down the enemy plane so it doesn't shoot you, and that's the whole game. So yeah, he's hard to see. You can see his shots, of course. That noise you just heard was an extra life being earned. See, I got the plane a few times there. Sometimes it shows up, you know, just once. Sometimes, you know, like that time was 3 times, maybe 5 times in a row. You just don't know. And sometimes it'll, even if you don't hit it, it'll just go away after one pass. Just to keep you on your toes, otherwise the game would be way too easy. And that, I flew right into that one, which is fine because I have too many lives. This game will go on. Like I said, I mean, I don't want to go more than 20 minutes here. You just turn it off, but I'll lose all my lives and let it just end normally at some point here. And when you're large, you can't move too fast. I was about to lower my altitude when I ran into that missile. Oh, and then plane caught me off guard. He's at the same altitude, so he moves slow as well if I'm moving slow, but you're also a bigger target, and you can't move out of the way too well. So generally, I think most people would probably play at the lowest altitude most of the time, unless you need to dodge something. You can see there it tracks your hits, how many targets you hit. When the plane shows up, the best course of action is just to keep shooting and strafing, and hopefully it'll fly right into it. So you don't know where it's going to appear. You know, it's gone now. Oh, we hit each other. I saw that coming. I just didn't move fast enough. You know, this game is actually only available on Intellivision, aside from the arcade version. It never got ported anywhere else. So, if you want to try it, you gotta play either this version or the arcade. Now, I've never played the arcade game. I looked up some screens of it. Certainly it does look better, which is no surprise. Battleships have multiple colors, they're not just gray. I think that's gray unless it's a greenish tint. The aircraft carrier, you can hit the little command center separately from the rest of the ship. I believe the max score is 99 million. The manual, here's the manual where I read it, stated that, and can only track 2 million something hits. 4 times in a row. 5. And he's gone. So even if you were good enough to play forever, at some point it's going to cut your score off. It's just going to stop recording everything. And I flew into that one. Like I said, it's the plane that's going to get you. But this is the hardest difficulty, and you can see it's really not that hard if I'm not talking. Probably wouldn't die too often at all. The screen can only display so many planes. I forget the number, 7 or 9. But you can earn more than that. So you can have, you know, a lot of extra lives saved up, even if they don't display on screen. Trying to hit that. There you go, got it. Mattel had deal with Data East. I wasn't even, what did I hit? I guess I hit a missile. I didn't even notice it. I guess I wasn't paying close enough attention. So I played Burger Time on the channel. Bump and Jump's another one that I own that is a Data East license. A lot of the Intellivision games are original, but there's some arcade ports, mostly Data East games. There's Donkey Kong, port over by Rico. Pitfall's another. So there are others, but Data East is a big one. Thing is, with the license, I don't think these games appear in any of the collections, like Intellivision Lives compilation that they put out, like on an original Xbox and PlayStation 2, I believe, or I don't know, some of the consoles, but you might, I don't think you find it on that. So, like I said, the cartridge, and I ran right into that. It's probably the only place you're going to be able to play this game if you wanted to. I like it. I think, you know, for 1983, it's quite good technically. It's just there's not a lot of action when the plane's not on screen because you're just bombing, but I think it's a fun game. Good for its time, and that'll do it. I know I didn't play so well, but you saw all there is to see. Well, thanks for watching.